The dawn, Fajr, considered by some commentators to symbolizing also man's spiritual awakening. The 10 nights, understood to refer to the last 10 nights of Ramadan, in which period the Quran was first revealed, bringing spiritual enlightenment to humanity. It is always a period of more intense spiritual devotion for Muslims. The even and the odd commentators have put forward several possible interpretations of this verse. Some consider it to refer to the even and odd numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Others think it might refer to the many and the one, that is the multiplicity of creation and the oneness of Allah. The night as it runs its course, considered by some commentators to refer also to spiritual darkness coming to its end, as man becomes truly conscious of Allah. The substantive question which follows then asks whether all these things do not lead to the conclusion of the existence and oneness of Allah. Allah then reminds us of how He dealt with powerful and corrupt nations and tribes in the past, that is, Ad, Thamud, and the people of Pharaoh. Man is then reminded of his wrong understanding of good and bad fortune. He regards good fortune as his rightful due, and bad fortune as evidence of Allah's being unfair to him. He does not see clearly that both the good and bad fortune are a test for him. Allah then draws our attention to some of the things we do or neglect to do. That is, we do not treat orphans generously. We do not ensure that the needy are fed and cared for. We cheat other people out of their rightful inheritance. We love wealth too much. So we should be careful about love of money. Love of money and wealth is not good. As in, love of money should come as in we should have wealth by the grace of Allah. As in, we should not love wealth unbearingly or too much. That might make us go astray or move us away from the right path of Allah, or make us forget or become unconscious of Allah. That's what it means. Allah asks us, in the light of these failures and sins, how we think we shall find ourselves on the last day, when the earth is crushed to pieces and we stand alone before Allah and the angels. Hell will be inside, but it will be too late to reform. Man will then wish that he had done something good with his life. This is contrasted with the fate of the righteous servants of Allah, who will be at peace, pleased with what they find, and pleasing to Allah, who will welcome them into His paradise. Amin. Inshallah. The next chapter is Al-Gashiyah, that is the overshadowing event, Surah 88. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Has there come to you the news of the overshadowing events? Some faces on that day will be downcast, toiling under burdens of sin, worn out by fear, about to enter a glowing fire, given to drink from a boiling spring, no food for them save bitter thorn fruits, except bitter thorn fruits, which gives no strength nor satisfies hunger. And some faces on that day will shine with bliss, well pleased with the reward of their striving, in a garden sublime, where you will hear no empty talk. A gushing spring shall flow there, and raised couches and goblets placed ready. and cushions arranged, and carpets laid out? Do they not look at the camels, how they are made, and the sky, how it is raised aloft, and the mountains, how they are fixed firm, and the earth, how it is spread out? And so, O prophets, exhort them. Your task is only to exhort. You cannot compel them to believe. But as for him who turns away and rejects the truth, Allah will cause him to suffer the greatest suffering. For to us they shall surely return, and verily it is for us to call them to account. Lessons of Surah Al-Gashiyah, verses 1 to 16 of the Surah, give a vivid contrast between the condition of the sinners on Judgment Day, and that of the righteous. The downcast, tired, and fearful faces of the sinners are contrasted with the shining joy radiating from the faces of those who will enter paradise. The horrible conditions of hell are contrasted with the beauty and welcoming comforts of paradise. Verses 17 to 20 urge man, if he doubts Allah's existence and the truth of the revelation, to consider the way Allah has created things and to reflect on his power and wisdom. The things referred to are: 1. The camels. One may, for example, consider their shape, their broad feet suited to walking on sand, their nose trees which can close to keep out sand during sandstorms, and their ability to store water and go without drinking for many days in a waterless environment. The sky, for example, the clouds floating above giving shade and rain, and the infinity of space beyond. The mountains, for example, their strength, height, weight, majesty, and beauty. The earth, for example, its wide expanse, spreading in all directions, with its infinite variety of hills, plains, forests, vegetation, deserts, rivers, and seas. These things are all evidence to those who reflect of the existence, creative power, and wisdom of Allah. The Prophet is told to urge people to accept the truth. He cannot force them to believe. However, due warning is given of the consequences of denial of the truth when man returns to Allah and is called to account. The next verse is Surah Al-Alaq, the Most High. Surah 87. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Glorify the name of your Lord, the Most High, who creates everything and forms it in accordance with what it is meant to be, and who determines the nature of all that exists and then guides it, and who brings forth herbage and then turns it into gross brown stubble. We shall teach you, and you will not forget any of what you are taught, save what Allah may will, for He alone knows all that is open to man's perception, as well as all that is hidden from it. And so shall we make easy you the path towards ultimate ease. Remind then others of the truth, regardless of whether this reminder would seem to be of use or not. He who stands in awe of Allah will heed it, but the most wretched will turn aside from it. He who in the life to come shall enter the great fire, in which he will neither die nor remain alive, but he will be successful who purifies himself and remembers his Lord's name and prays to him. But nay, O men, you prefer the life of this world, although the life to come is better and more lasting. All this is contained in the earlier revelations, the revelations to Ibrahim and Musa. Lessons of Surah Al-Alaq. The surah opens with an instruction to glorify Allah as the one who creates and shapes all things and gives them their nature, way of behavior and instincts, and guides them according to their needs. Verses 6 to 7 are considered by the classical commentators to refer to the Quran, meaning that Allah assures the prophet that he will teach him the revelation in a way that he will not forget it. This leaves some problems with the meaning of verse 7, save what Allah may will, implying the possibility that some verses were abrogated, that means cancelled by other revelations. Some other commentators who refute the idea of abrogation of any verses by the Quran have therefore concluded that the verses do not refer to the Quran itself and the Prophet, but to knowledge in general and mankind in general. The meaning would then be that Allah teaches man not only knowledge, but he needs to record it. See Surah Al-Alaq 96 verses 4 to 5. Who taught man the use of the pen? Taught man what he knew not. Mankind will then forget or abandon some redundant parts of what he had learned as a result of new experience and knowledge. The verse continues that Allah alone has access to all knowledge. Therefore, divine revelation is essential to guide man through life. The Prophet is then urged, that is verse 9, to remind other people of the truth, whether or not they seem likely to accept it. It should be recalled that sometimes people who were previously prejudiced against Islam changed their minds once they came to know its true teachings. Umar ibn al-Khattab is an example of this. Those who fear Allah will accept it, while the ungrateful will turn aside and end in the fire. The ones to attain happiness are those who purify themselves, remember Allah and pray to Him. Most people, however, only think of their happiness in this world, which is short and temporary. That is, every sweetness in this life is only for a short time. It is a little moment of enjoyment. The everlasting sweetness is in paradise, that is heaven, and that is Jannatul Firdaus. So forgetting to make provision for their happiness in the hereafter, which is not only of a higher order but lasts forever. Lastly, Allah reminds us that the contents of the revelation are not new information to man. They are the eternal message as given to the earlier prophets Ibrahim and Musa. So thank you very much for listening to me as I read the 5 very strong and powerful surahs of the Holy Quran. I really appreciate your attention and presence. Please remember to keep liking, subscribe, leave your comments, promote my video as much as you can, share to your friends and family. Bye bye, and I wish you good luck all through. Amin.